Good morning. Today is the 13th of August and this is Cranleigh Lions classic car show in Cranleigh in Surrey. This is part one of the Slightly Shambolic Shuffle. There will be many parts. I do apologise in advance if there is wind noise, if I fall over, if I get interrupted by announcements. I'm afraid it's just the way that it goes on this channel. We also can't talk about details on this channel, viewers, due to the impending ultra low emission zone expansion in London. Thank you, Mayor of London, so we should be skipping those. If you start making comments about that kind of stuff, you clearly haven't read what I've written in advance of the video, and I shall assume that you haven't, and so I will just remove the comment. So we'll start off with this Mark 1 Mini, Morris badged one. Local plate to the area as well. Someone's very handily put in an information sheet. And it's in 1960, the Morris Mini Minor, which is what they were called before 1961. That's rather nice, viewers. They are worth a lot of money now, the Mark 1 Minis. Yes, and I won't be touching any of the cars at the show either, because on this Mercury, if I run my hands over the Mercury, I'll have Mercury running all over my hands, so I shall not do that. This, to me, looks like a Mercury Monterey from 1959, which I've just read on the number plate and also on the side of the car. Very handy, isn't it, when people do that sort of thing for you? Look at these rear lights, they're just extraordinary. 59 was about the kind of peak year for this absolute and utter extravagance in American car design, and that is just crazy, isn't it? So 2000 BMW Z3, this is the 2 litre. I have driven a Z3 before. One I drove was a 3 litre. It was actually the same year as this on a 2000 plate. No, 2 litres is the rarest model in this country. There is actually an overall theme of the show, which is cars from before 2004. Might see one or two exceptions to that, but that's why they call it a classic car show, not a sort of modern one. Ooh, very nice. Look at this. If I'm not mistaken, this is a Mark II Lotus Cortina. Very, very nice. £32,000. 07785 920 477. That is that's very nice, isn't it? It's about 68, 69, something like that on a G. And then we've got Rover P5B in Zircon Blue on an H, so 6970 registration. I've actually driven one of these, viewers. I drove it last year and it was also in this colour. This is a, oh gosh, it's this is a saloon road rather than a coupe. I always get them confused. So we're actually in this area in the kind of mixed parking. We're not in the club section, so it's really just whatever's arrived, which is, as far as I'm concerned, pretty good. All sorts of variety. Humber Super Snipe here, relatively early one, pre-suffix plate, so I'd assume, well, there we go, about 1959 by that replica tax disc. That's handy, isn't it, viewers, when people give you information like that. And then a Jaguar XK120. Goodness knows what this is worth. That is absolutely and utterly beautiful. It's not just a stunning car. Wow. Another Mark II Cortina. This one is 600E, one of the very last 7071 plate. Look at that interior, isn't that just absolutely amazing? If that colour doesn't sort of scream 1970 to you, I don't really know what does. Some of these cars will have been there at the Cranleigh show yesterday. I can spot actually quite a few of them that have been. There's one just over there, which we'll circle in a minute. Capri 3000 GT, an XL. I think the XL was the option pack. It was very confusing back in the day with Fords. This one is okay, so 71, 72. What a very nice Mark 1 Austin Mini Cooper S, 1965 on a C. Still got the good old house style door handles, and the sliding windows and exposed hinges, and little tiny little sort of extra overriders on top of there. Isn't that great? I prefer though this Hillman Avenger. It's a 75, this one, and we saw this yesterday at Cranleigh. Quite late for one of these. It's a 1300, this one, 1300 DL or deluxe model. What I didn't see yesterday was this very nice dealer sticker supplied by Henry Streeter in Croydon. Let's just check the plate and see. Yeah, GH would have been a London plate back in the day. Very nice. Hockey stick rear lamps on this one because it's a Hillman. Later Chrysler didn't have that. 1964 Jaguar Mark II 3.8 in rather nice condition. Very nice. And also in nice condition is this Vauxhall Viva. I do wonder with this Viva whether it's a deluxe or it's just a Viva. The Viva I drove back in January at Great British Car Journey was just a Viva. It was no deluxe at all. Well, that's just a Viva as well, which means it's ultra basic. Do we even have a stereo in here, viewers? I don't see one. So that's just the basic Viva. If it's on a K, so 71, 72, it might not even have servo-assisted brakes. Ooh, a Jensen. Very nice. Very, very nice indeed. Can't remember if that's an FF or an Interceptor, but that's a very early one actually. It came out in 66, it's 67, 68 registration. Thank you. It looks like it. Wonderful, thank you. Because you never know what you're going to get here at all. It's going to be the first time of this all day. There's tons of people still arriving, and so we will just have to keep going for how many parts it takes. Unos, or Mark 1 MX5. This is the Unos version. Notice it's got the Japanese style rear plinth there for the number plate. Personal plate, so I don't know what year that is. Ooh, Ford Escort RS Cosworth. I was wondering when we were going to see one of these. See, it's early in the day and we've already seen it, so there we go. That plate is again a personal one. It's a little bit too early for the car. Let's look at the dash. If it has an airbag, I'll be able to tell you if it's one of the later ones, but there's always an aftermarket steering wheel on it, so I'm not actually sure what year that is at all. But they are just like a Sierra underneath. They're not really an Escort at all. It's just got Escort sort of bodywork on it because they are four-wheel drive with a longitudinal engine. Porsche 911. If we look at the front, perhaps we can identify which generation this is. That is a 996 facelift, I think. 1968 Ford Mustang with the 289 cubic inch engine. I think we're going to see quite a few of these today, viewers. I suspect that we are. We're only on part one, we're only 8 minutes in. 1973-74 MG BGT. That's the actual plan of the show. I better keep going. I'm going to be here a while. Then 1965 Mustang. I don't think actually that they ever produced a 64 Mustang. It was 64 and a half, I think they called it, but this got a 65 plate on it, so I'm going to call it a 65. Very early one day. 1974 to 75 Porsche 911S with a Targa. That's right-hand drive. Most of these I see are actually left-hand drive at shows these days. Once upon a time these were sort of cheapest type of 911 you could get. I don't think they are anymore. 1939 Oldsmobile offers around £24,000. Call 07496 986 021 or 07808 888 620. That's a fun number, isn't it, on the bottom of there? I can't say that I know much about it, but it's a right-hand drive. And it's a sticker there from 2010 from South Australia. Wow, it's going to be like this all day, isn't it? Seeing extraordinary things. MG Midget 1965. From memory, I think this is a Mark II. Well, it could actually be a Mark III. Answer in the comment section below, please. The Mark III I drove was from 1968. It was a bit later than that. It looked a bit different. 1965 Jaguar S-Type with the 3.8 engine. I don't know what it is, viewers, but I kind of prefer the styling of the S-Type. They're a lot less valuable than the Mark II for some reason. That's why they used to use so many of them as Sweeney, because they were not worth a lot by the mid-70s. So we've got a couple of Triumphs here. TR6 with the Lucas mechanical fuel injection. 1973 to 74 registration. And then Stag. Colour is different on this Stag from the TR6. This looks like it's a Mark 1, yes, it's definitely a Mark 1. And it was there yesterday as well. So yeah, 72. I enjoyed driving that Stag back in May very much, viewers, on the channel. Spitfire Mark III, 1967-68 registration. And some of the most kind of unnecessarily kind of unplanned lighting it back ever, I think, on a car. The Mark IVs sort of tidied up a bit, really, and they had different front end as well. Can't remember if this was the 1.2 or 1.3. Let's have a look at the Stag, actually. If it's an auto or a manual. That's an auto, like the one I drove. See, some of these Triumphs might have come together, actually, even though it's not just in the club area. Another TR6, 73, 74. I'd have to go on a TR6, actually, yes. Having driven a Stag recently has given me sort of ideas about that. Yeah, 73, that one. And then a Rover 100, be about 1960 or thereabouts, but this is one's been quite heavily modified with the suspension and the wheels. I don't know if I like this or not, really, viewers. The bodywork, I think, has been sort of changed to accommodate the wheels as well. It's been done quite well, but I'm not quite sure if I like that too much, personally. Although, yeah, it's been done to a very high standard. Ooh, a Sherpa van. I think we've seen this before, viewers, somewhere. I don't know where. I think we have seen it. 7607 registration. I'm getting Spy Who Loved Me vibes off this very, very much. Although this is a camper rather than the panel van. Good old Sherpa van. Kind of elements of this, of course, survived until 2006 as the LDV pilot. Based on the based on even earlier van called the J4. So yeah, I like to reuse parts as much as possible. Mark III Ford Capri. I think we're going to see quite a few of these today, viewers. I think those are Brooklyn's wheels actually on this. I believe it's not in the Brooklyns. They're about the same era as the Brooklyns, but not the same specification. I don't know what specification that is at all, actually. No decals of any type. Mark II Volkswagen Golf GTI 16 valve. Not my first choice of wheels, but that's okay. 1988 to 89 registration, with some nice fog lights as well. Mini Mayfair, very original looking Mini Mayfair. I've driven a Mayfair, but it was a modified one. This is a much sort of straighter car, this one. Yeah, very straight and original. 89 to 90 registration. And then this Ford Consul, which we saw yesterday in Camberley. From what I understand of the research I've done, this is a 2.5 GT model. It's not the same as the one in the Sweeney. That was a 3000 GT. Although it does look quite similar, but that was of course a bronze colour, this is white. Same era though. And then a Beetle, this is one of the last with the sort of sloping headlamps. A little after this, they went to sort of the sort of upright ones. My gosh, it's 56. So this would have been imported to this country around 1968. But at the time, if you imported the car to this country, they just slapped whatever plate on it that was the year that the import happened. So it wasn't reflective of the year of the car at all. That happened until about 1981. 1973-74 MGB GT in, I think that's blaze red. That's the colour of this. It looks orange though. Yeah, it's a 73. It's actually in rather nice condition that. Some of the engine bays on display. MGF, presumably the VVC model. It's a 2000. And it's recently had, say, head gasket there. Yeah, of course. of course it has a head gasket. It's a nice colour though. I like that. I'm going to be just very cautious about this Land Cruiser. Yeah, I'm glad to be. We'll just skip that one. We'll just move on to the next car. Thank you, Mayor of London. 1957 Chevy Bel Air. You'd sort of spot these a mile off, wouldn't you? Particularly in this colour. The two-door I think is more iconic, but this is a four-door and it looks great actually. MGB GT. Don't know what year that is actually. Oh, are those V8 wheels, viewers? This might be a V8. No, it's, well, there's no badges, so one or the other. Look at this. Wow. Peugeot 304 Cabriolet. These are exceptionally rare cars, these. And that's in really nice condition, that one. Colour is very, very typical of the era, so 73, 74. Ford Escort XR3i. It's an early XR3i as well. They came out around 1983. Still got the very sort of early style wheels on this. That's absolutely exquisite. That. Split up, we've seen quite a few of these today. Left-hand drive. Very hard to date these actually. Sometime in the 50s, I don't know. Somebody enlighten me in the comment section below. 1990-1991 Mini Cooper. I said 91. Excellent, we've actually got an information sheet. I like information sheets for you, it's a very limited sheet, so I don't have to go around speculating. Ford Thunderbird 1963. Again, the year of very extravagant sort of American styling. And that one, again, is really nice. Do we have here a Mark II Mini? Looks like it, with some enormous wheels. Often they say Mark II on the back, sometimes they don't. Yeah, Mark II, you can tell by the rear light straight away. 67, 68, the Austin Cooper S. Very late Ford Escort XR3i. Final year of production, 1990, with the alloy wheels that they had right at the end. Yeah, 1990. I mean, that looks really immaculate. It had a bit of bodywork done, but it's very nice nevertheless. I'll have to skip this raw mail van because I suspect it's not got an engine that we can discuss on the channel. We saw this yesterday actually at the Slightly Shambolic car show. The Smart 1 Escort. I think it's a facelifted one by M registration, which would be 73, 74. It looks very similar though to the earlier ones. I can't tell the difference really myself. Ooh, a Mark III Cortina. It's a GT. It's a two-door. The two doors are very rare. It's the 2000. 71. Yeah, that is very nice. Also nice is this. I presume this is a Crayford. It's a 2000 GXL, so one of the top models. That is very, very nice indeed. Again, about the same sort of era. Also on a so on a K, so 7172. So if that's on an L, why is it 71? Maybe it's manufacturing date, I don't know. Right, let's have a look at this Mark II Mini. Looks like a Cooper to me. Obviously been modified for some rallying or something like that. Well, there we go. Perfect. There we go. It's a 69. It's quite a late Mark II then. It's a 1275cc. Austin. Let's get this right. A big 7. It'd be a big 7 or a 10. This one. I suspect it's a big 7. It's from the sort of mid to late 30s. MGB, a very early one with the pull handles. So sort of between about 62 and 64, I'd say. Then another one of these Mini Coopers. They seem to be breeding around here. Still a Mark 1 by the rear lights, but a late Mark 1, 1967 by that plate. Ford Anglia, 1200. I think this is a 123 Anglia rather than a 105 because it's a 1200 Super. Quite late for one of these. I think the latest I've seen these on is a G. This is on an F, which is kind of right at the end. 2768, thereabouts. And then got an Austin A30 here. You can tell by the very small rear window. Yes, it is. An AS4 model, the 4-door. The most common one it shows is an A35 with 2 doors, but so this is nice to see a variant on that. Doesn't it look sort of dumpy little thing? 1967-68 MGB GT with the wire wheels. What's the sale at 67? There we go. Let's have a look. 01403 241 196 or 07765 315 842. Beetle 7273 on an L. I like the colour scheme. I don't know if it's original or not. It looks a bit older than the car, really, that colour scheme. So it's the 1300 model. Another MGB GT, of course. Let's see if this has had the bumpers removed. Yeah, that would be a rubber bumper, but that actually looks really good with bumpers removed. They do, honestly, they do look good with bumpers removed on them. Which is, it's good with mini light wheels as well. We'll move on to this Mini Clubman. I have a feeling, looking at the modifications, that that's not quite got the original engine in. Oh, it's a 1275 GT, I do apologise. Clubmans look very similar to those. 77, 78 registration. Ooh, E39 BMW M5 2001-2 plate. These are worth a lot of money nowadays. An awful lot. That looks very nice. Mercedes-Benz R129 SL with a V12, so that'll be a S6L600, I think. Look at the size of this. Goodness me, you've done 12 coil packs as well. Yep, SL600. Wolseley 6110. It's very rare to see these in colour other than black. Most of them are used by the police, but that's in a very nice green. And yeah, 67, 68 registration on an F. I think they were phased out around 1960, 68 in favour of the Austin 3 litre from memory. Viewers. A Talbot Sunbeam Lotus, I think you're supposed to call these. But everyone calls them Lotus Sunbeam. This is the facelift of the model with the flush lights to be in 1982, although they were registered, they were made until 1981. Registered in Bedworth, so that's not a car registered by Peugeot Talbot at the time. It's actually registered in Bedworth, which was kind of near Coventry. That is absolutely amazing. Also amazing is this is Spree 1985-86 registration. Someone's left me an information sheet. Did we see this yesterday or something? I don't think, no, it's different to Spree we saw yesterday. This is an S3, yes, an 85. Very nice. Porsche 944, 1989 to 90. Is this a beige leather interior, viewers? No, it's not. It's sort of a cream one, but we'll keep looking for a beige leather interior, viewers. We'll find one at some point. Yes, a 944 S2, 8990. Oh, Suzuki X90. Yes, please, viewers. I mean, by all accounts, they're not the best cars in the world, but I have a fascination for these. Look at this interior. Look at that fabric. Is that not the most 90s thing that you've ever seen? The plate on this is a personal one, but that's actually about the year of the car, 96, 97, and the colour is just right. Wow. Land Rover, this would be Series 2, Series 2A, something like that. Someone's very strangely put some head restraints in here. I've driven a Series 3 Lightweight, which is a very similar dash to this, and seeing out of it is interesting. You're going forward. But people love these, don't they? And this Calista, we saw this yesterday, and we got the same friend. The friend's fallen over. The friends have fallen over. It's a tragedy. It's a real tragedy. Panther should be sitting proudly on top of a windscreen. But I think this is an 84. It's a Calista from the SsangYong ownership period of Panther. Panther's obviously also made in Surrey, not too far away, at Brooklands, I think the factory was, and then it moved somewhere else a bit later on. Ooh, another thing for sale. This is a Bedford Bambi, viewers. Yes, it is, and there is Bambi in the front. Hello. Call John on 07501 866 925. As Mr. Bill from the Fuel Power channel says, this could be yours. 1986-87 registration. That's the fuel filler, I think. Look at these little discs, of shiny discs. That is absolutely amazing. Another Austin here. What, I don't know what one this is. This is like a 12 or something. Yeah, no idea. But it's probably from the late 20s, early 30s. I know what decade this is from, viewers. It's not hard to really work that out. It's a Vauxhall Cresta. It's a PA Cresta. Whether this is a pre or post, actually I think this is a pre-facelift one, because of the rear window and the rear lights which were changed. So I think these came out in 57, 58, something like that. And of course the late Queen Elizabeth had one of these as well. I think she had an estate or something. Jaguar XJR, I think this is the X300 model. Oh, viewers. And it has a beige leather interior with wood. A supercharged, yeah, it's an X300, it's a 6-cylinder. Supercharged 6-cylinder engine. I mean, what more do you need in life? Also got this Buick. I think we saw this Buick before somewhere. 57 Buick. It's a Buick Special or something like that. Show my ignorance here as usual. Yeah, I've no idea. Something like that. Oh, some Porsches. 356 here. Very late one, actually. 1964. It's one of the very last years they made them. 356C. And then next to it, the car that replaced it, the 911. This is 911E. That's not just this sort of sequential naming, that's because it has Einspritzel, which is fuel injection in German. It's my degree from the University of Durham being used there, so it's full potential, of course. 1969 registration with the Fuchs wheels. And then late Stag here, 76, 77 on an R. The chrome trims, I think, and The body coloured panel came back right at the end of production, I think. Although so many cars have had chrome trims on the sills taken off and put on, or the rear painted in a non-original colour. It's hard to tell sometimes. Ooh, this is very interesting. It's a Rover 2000. This is the Series 1.5, because a little bit later on in production they actually changed for 2200. But it has the facelifted front end, so this will be sort of 71, 72, something like that. And we have Land Rover Series 3 pickup, 79 to 80. Just in case we get in trouble here at the show, something won't start, I'm sure they'll help out, won't they? Right, I think that is a good place to stop part 1. We shall continue in many, many, many more parts. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like, and comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more incorrect information.